on? Me and Alec are back for another episode of Section.300. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm your host, Garrett Thomas. Find me online everywhere at G Thomas everywhere. Got my boy Alec here. Find him everywhere at Alec R Foster. We are Section.300, where real fans talk real life. We talk about sports and music and all the stories beyond those and bring all the dialogue to you. So another episode is here. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, all the new listeners, all the new viewers, everywhere you listen to podcasts, or you're on YouTube, subscribe to our page, like our page, comment, review, all that good stuff, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, whether it's on Spotify. For all the listeners, new and old, all that's coming around, everyone that's new to our program, appreciate y'all for tuning in. And now we're back for a new episode, and we're here on a Sunday. I just finished watching the Ravens-Chiefs game.
Yeah,
I'm repping my boys proudly. Repping my boys proudly, even in defeat.
I respect
my boys proudly. I like what I saw today. Even though Mahomes did what Mahomes did, as he always did,
yep.
Our boys showed out, and they were down for a while and fought their way back at the end and always had a chance to win it, but the Chiefs held us off. So it's a tough loss for us. We're now 2-1 in the season, but the Ravens and my team, we're still in good shape. So I like what I saw even in defeat. So just want to get that out the way first, since I had my Ravens jersey on, wanted to address that. And now let's get back to our regular rotation. Okay. And starting with that, we always, as the season's now underway, we always talk about college football.
Right.
Me a big USC fan, you a big UCLA fan. We'll start with our teams, and then we'll branch from there. So with USC, they played Utah on Friday. And last week I talked about how it was getting real hot. It was that hot. The hot seat was heating up for Clay Helton and those boys over there after the loss to BYU. They lost overtime to BYU last week, and things look real shaky. Lynn Swann also resigned, and people were calling for everybody's head after that as well. So things were turning towards the worst. And then we have this top 15, 18 team that we're facing against this week in Utah. And based on how things were going, we thought it could have been. Yeah, so a top 10 team.
Yeah.
And there's a high possibility that it could have got ugly real quick. Mm-hmm. Also, when the game started, Keaton Slavis, I believe is how you say his name, who was the kid I raved about a couple weeks ago, stepped onto the scene, and within the first drive, I believe, got crushed by one of the defenders and got taken out of the game with a concussion, I believe. So third stringer Matt Fink stepped up, and people didn't know what to expect, but he showed out and got the job done and helped USC look really good and helped USC get the dub. So USC gets the dub on Friday, beating a top 10 team, Utah. And it's weird because have you ever actually wanted your team to lose?
Why? Because do you want like Clay Helton out? Is that why?
I liked Clay for a while, but I guess this year, once seeing how we started and the ups and downs.
If you want your team to lose, you can't call me a fraud. That's all I'm gonna say. But continue your thought.
If it's losing for the future betterment of the team, does that not?
I hate taking, but continue.
It doesn't. If you hate it, if you know it's going to pay off in the end, you kind of let it slide, right? You might not root for it, but you're not going to be sitting there. You're not going to switch teams because of that, right?
Like I can't change what like the organization wants to do, so I can. I'm not going to like it, but I can't do anything about it. So
right. So you have the Kobe shirt on. So for the Lakers tanked at the end of the season, and we got a top 3-4 pick in the draft following that. So while we didn't want our team to tank, if it pays off in the end, you kind of just, hey, you know what, fuck it. Do what you gotta do. Right, exactly. So in the same situation with USC, it's like I kind of wanted them to stay bad just so things could kind of just get through this kind of roller coaster period and just get to the worst, get all the bad stuff out the way, bring in the new guys, whether it be Urban Meyer, who was at the game on Friday bumping fists with Matt Leinart and Matt Fink and everybody, whether it be Urban Meyer or some new guys to bring new energy and get them back to the top. Because even with this win, while it was a great win, now with our third string quarterback, he was actually, he submitted himself to the transfer portal. He was planning on transferring because of how things were going. So with guys that may not even want to be there, guys looking elsewhere, things still kind of shaky, even with the success we just had. Right. I would have rather us just continue to be bad and then rebuild it back up and hope to build all the way back to the top where we once were. We had Matt Lyon in the building on Friday. We had Reggie Bush back in the building on Friday, and guys like that are who we're trying to find the next one of those guys to create more of that USC success in the future. So I don't know if we're going to do it with the group of guys we have right now, which is why I'd rather us just keep rebuilding.
I'd say you guys have had the individual guys. It's just the team success post sanctions hasn't been great. Right. But individually, like there's been a lot of NFL talent. I'm just thinking about like wide receivers right now.
Oh, no, we definitely have had talent, but I'm saying again, as the team, as you brought up, the more the team success is what more I'm looking for. So gotcha. It was weird. Like I was happy to see that they won, but then when it set in, like, oh, we won, and now it's one more week at least.
Now there's still expectations that you're going
to exactly. So I don't know where's the season going to go. I'm gonna watch, and whatever happens, I'm gonna just enjoy the ride. But it's been interesting from a fan perspective on what's going on.
I was talking to our homie Taylor too. We were like, what happens if the third stringer gets hurt? Like who's next on the depth chart for quarterback?
Oh, I don't know. They probably like pull a walk on or something. Right. USC
player who played quarterback in high school or something.
And that was my other point too. I was talking with a coworker about. It's like USC can go down to their third string quarterback and still win games. But for some reason, they can't be consistent with that and be the dominant team. Like, how do you have three, like, legit quarterbacks on your roster like that? Like, each one drops, another one steps up. Oh, he's the next guy. He drops, the other guy steps up. Oh, he's the guy. But,
part of it probably just the pressure that comes with being the quarterback at USC. Even with, like, kind of the roller coaster of seasons in the past, like, there's still pressure to be that guy when you're the number one quarterback at USC. Like, there's guys all over the country who want that spot because of the past history of USC, the tradition of USC. So I think sometimes those guys succumb to the pressure a little bit. Like I remember there was like Max Whittick or something like that, and there was
a few.
There was a couple USC quarterbacks who were like highly touted at the beginning of the season and fell off real hard or got hurt, and that you can't really control. But I think sometimes the pressure of putting on that uniform is more than, say, if you went to a mid-major or something like that. Like,
I feel you. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting to see. I hope we pull it all together. The talent is there. Let's just get all the players as a unit and get a full game together and get these dubs. So, continue to watch and hope for the best and see how the season unfolds. Flipping to the other side now with your UCLA boys. Bruh, what the fuck?
I don't know. What? I was shocked because I didn't watch the game. I saw the highlights, so I was like, how?
No,
I saw the score earlier. I was like,
I checked in the third quarter when it was like 49-10, 49-17
or something. Yeah.
And I checked in, I turned to it, I was like, oh, UCLA being UCLA. Next, right. And turned the channel.
Right.
Turned 2K on or whatever the fuck I did. Went to bed.
Yeah, turn that SJ on. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. But then I woke up next morning and they're like, UCLA won. I'm like, they were down 30 points. Like, how do you come back from down 30 points and win that game? UCLA of all teams against a good Washington State team.
We thought. I don't know now.
That's ridiculous, man.
67 points. Like, both those defensive coordinators got to be on the hot seat. Like,
absolutely.
You can't give up 60 plus. In regulation, crazy. Too. It wasn't like OT or any of that.
Right. So we, again, kind of look with the USC thing. We talked about UCLA and their coaching staff, how they're on the hot seat. And they seem to be on the same course for a while in that game, but then they somehow turned it around in the last quarter and a half and found a way to get the dub. So that kind of puts a little bit more faith back in the Chip that even when all things are turned against him, he can find a way to get a dub. I mean, I don't know how long this lasts. It might just be one game where a miracle just happened, but at least for 1 week, you have some new hope that you can at least there's a chance every week now that you feel like you have. So, I really don't know. I didn't see that coming at all. So that was very unexpected. That was a major win. Even as a USC guy, I tip my hat because Washington State is a good squad too, as we talked about. Yep. So respect to y'all. Where I want to go now with that USC UCLA, those are both Pac-12 teams, and with USC was a struggling team that beat a top 10 Utah squad. UCLA was a struggling Pac-12 team that beat top 20 Washington State
team. They're 1-3 now. So.
Right. But I'm saying these lower Pac-12 teams are being the top tier Pac-12 teams. So the Pac-12 is a conference that's always struggling to get into the national championship debate. Like we're always beating up on each other to the point that we can't prove how good one of the teams are to get into that Final Four. So I don't know how much you've been following the other teams.
Washington made it a couple years back, didn't they?
They did, but I'm saying even in that, like, they've always kind of had to fight like real hard to get into there. Like Alabama can lose a game and get in. Clemson can lose a game and get in. If a Pac-12 team loses a game, it's like, they write them off. They're done. So I don't know how much you've been following the rest of the Pac-12 or college football in general at all. Do you see any Pac-12 team getting into or at least even in the conversation still?
For the college football championship?
Yeah, I know it's early on, but do you see anything?
I mean, I know Washington was ranked high at the beginning of the season. I don't know if are they 3-0 or 4-0?
That I'm not sure. I don't know the full details of the rest of the league, but I just know what's going on with USC. So
I'll check it right now too. But I think Washington. I thought Washington State was one of those teams, but if your defense is giving up 67. I don't know about that.
You're not going to last. No. So
and that's not great for your strength of schedule to lose to 0-3 team either.
Right.
So right now, off the top of my head, I would just say Washington. I don't know how Oregon is either, but I would just say Washington at this point from the Pac-12 has a shot. USC, I guess if USC won out, because they only have one loss. But
just off a name, they probably could, because USC has a name that will still grab people's attention. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me turn this down real quick. Turn the fan on.
I mean, because SEC, of course, is gonna have a team or two in there,
right?
And what's Clemson in the ACC? Yeah, I mean, Clemson's probably gonna be there. So Alabama, Clemson already takes 2 spots. There's only 4 spots. So,
so it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough to get again for the Pac-12. But we gotta keep on hoping. Hopefully they turn things around. Hopefully, like I said, if USC can get right or UCLA can pull. UCLA's not getting in. I'm saying down the road. Hopefully, one of these teams can find their way to get more solidified to these conversations. Because for now, it's just Alabama, Clemson, and then everybody else, or Ohio State even gets in there every once in a while. But
Cal and ASU are both ranked. Cal's 23 and ASU is 24. They're both 3-1.
That's good. So I don't know what their playoff hopes look like. I know they're ranked, but hopefully we can get a squad in there, because I'd love to see one of these West Coast squads represent for us. So definitely looking forward to all of that. Looking forward to the rest of the college football season. Definitely excited for both of our California teams.
I had one more note.
Go ahead.
College football wise, I don't know if you saw, but that Pitt team beat UCF, and they broke their 27-game win streak.
Right.
That was a pretty big moment as well. I think they beat them 35-34 on one of those Philly special plays from the Super Bowl.
Wow.
So that was big. I mean, because UCF was that team that was claiming they were the FBS champions after they beat I don't know, Auburn or whatever, and then didn't get a chance to play in the college football playoff. So they had a season and a half, almost 2 season long game winning streak. So that was pretty big for them to go down finally.
With a team, when you have teams like that every year, do you think that they should expand the playoff to 8 teams? Because there's always going to be that. There's always that Boise State. There's always that now UCF. There's always one of these teams, these mid-major squads, or whatever you want to call them, that pops up and dominates all their league and thinks they should be in the conversation.
Right. Yeah, it's tough because then once you spend at 8, then you have the 9 and 10 seed. They're we should have been in there too, kind of thing. That had the same record, had the same amount of losses, have a similar strength of schedule. It's hard because how they select too is a little bit subjective.
Right.
When you have teams that are both really good, one team lost to this team who beat another team who's also has a similar record. So it's it'll be tough to expand it to 8, because then I feel you get the same arguments And I don't know if we're gonna end up with like an NCAA tournament for like basketball where we have 64 teams in the playoffs.
Definitely not doing that. What I was gonna say is I don't think that's always gonna be argument. Those with that one team that feels like they should get in.
Right.
But my thing is in college football, there's such a gap, a talent gap between the top teams. Like 1 through 4, usually they're all kind of even. But even in that, if you have a dominant Alabama team or dominant Clemson team, they still separate. So when you have 1 through 4 are semi-close, once you add that extra 4 through 8, those teams like playing that 8-1. Like if UCF came in one year and had to play Alabama, they get smacked. Or at least I would think they would get smacked. Like,
I don't know. They haven't gotten a shot.
Yeah. They haven't gotten a shot. So again, we don't know.
Yeah.
But just based off of talent and teams like Alabama, as I continue to reference to, you would expect that type of team to kind of blow everybody out. So that's really where the thing is about. If the tournament is about the best team, you keep it at 4. If it's about the entertainment, you stretch it to 8, so you can see these games and see what would happen. Because keeping it at 4, you're getting the 4 best teams. Even if there's some debate, you're getting good. Those 2-3 games that we're getting all the top talent there, and we see who we want to see. So it just depends on what they value more. So
yeah, I mean, I would like to see it. I think it'd be cool for other teams to get an opportunity as well. But
that's what I'm saying. Entertainment value, I'd love to see it, but do I think the result would be what we expect? No, I think it would just be the top teams kind of blowing everybody else out the water. So, we'll see how it goes. That's always a debate as we stick with this 14 format for right now, and we'll see how that plays out. What I was going to allude to earlier was our teams, USC and UCLA. We've been talking about them. And then we've been talking about California and the bill they passed regarding the players being played. And now another state is following with that, and New York has proposed a bill following what California did that would also pay the athletes, but also give them 15% of the revenue that they're producing within their.
I didn't hear about that.
Okay. Yeah, so New York is trying to get this bill passed. It's something that's been put on the table. So I'm definitely for it. We talked about before, but I'm all for. We're all for players getting paid, and we're all for athletes getting paid. And I think this is a great step. The interesting part, though, is what I brought up about the 15% and how you feel about the 15% being spread equally across all sports, all the athletes.
But so, like, structurally, how does that work? Like, so 15% from the university or from the NCAA?
I believe it's from the university, like wherever the university is collecting the
from their whole athletic program.
From all their whole athletic program, they would then take 15% of that and spread it across all their teams
evenly, and like every player on every team gets the exact same.
I believe so. At least that's what they're saying for now. They're probably going to update and continue to build upon that.
That's tough. That's tough because, like, I feel like different sports bring in a lot more than others too. So, like, how you allocate that money, I think that would bring up some issues if everyone, like, the golfer was paid the same amount as like the starting quarterback on the team, because like the football team brings in a lot more money. Like the major sports, football, basketball, sometimes baseball, bring in a lot more money than like the non-ticketed sports. So I think that would raise issues amongst the athletes, at the very least. Yeah,
I'm with you. That was definitely my point too. It's just what, just the different sports bringing the money. Like, I agree with you. So if that's what they got on the table for right now. We see how it goes. I'm for the players getting paid. So if that's what we have to do for right now, then we'll take that first step and then build upon it. So definitely excited for all of that that's taking place. Definitely looking forward to seeing players getting paid. Like we talked about NCAA football, video games and stuff that can help bring that stuff back too. I'm all for it. So definitely excited for what's to come on and off the field in sports in the future. So that's it I got for the college stuff. Now, as we go back to the NFL, I talked about my Ravens already, and so we'll leave that there unless you want to add anything to that.
No, I mean, do you still think Lamar could be a MVP candidate?
I definitely think he could. I think he It was a wild performance today. Like even like I said, it was good, but there were plays where he was running around and just throwing up Hail Marys and hoping for the best, and guys just made plays for him. So I mean, that's in a way that's kind of how some guys get the job done. That's kind of their thing. I mean, last year when the Chiefs played the Ravens and they had Mahomes with a no-look pass. We had Mahomes with a deep throw to Tyreek Hill. Right. But that was kind of a Hail Mary in itself where Tyreek just found it and wiggled his way through. So plays like that are what separate the good from the great. So I definitely like what I saw from Lamar today. I think that the defense needs to step up just a little bit. I think we have some injuries like Jimmy Smith and guys. Marlon Humphrey was injured as well. So with guys like that injured, we just got to get healthy and stay healthy for the long run. And I think we'll be just fine.
Think that could be an AFC Championship preview?
I think it could. Oh, that was what I was going to bring up. I'm definitely a Ravens fan. Like, there's no denying I'm a Ravens fan. I love this team, all of that. ESPN posted some shit where they said like Ravens Chiefs or Lamar versus Pat Mahomes is the next Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning. And I
would give that to Mahomes. I think Mahomes is proven.
Everybody, calm down.
You don't think Mahomes is the real deal?
I'm saying this as a Ravens fan. Lamar versus Pat Mahomes is not Brady versus Manning. Like, let's pump the brakes real quick.
Oh, I mean, I agree with that. Yeah.
It was just wild to see because, at least from my perspective, they were not giving the Ravens no kind of credit at all during the preseason, offseason, whatever. Right. It was all Browns talk. It was all Steelers talk. It was all, they're going to come back, and the Ravens are a good team, but the Browns have their offense, and Steelers, Big Ben's are going to be remotivated, and they cleared out, so they're going to be good now.
Yeah. And they all took Lamar seriously. That's why, basically.
Exactly. That's my thing. They didn't take him seriously. So for him to win 2 games, and I'm going to say this even as a Ravens fan, we played Miami and Arizona. Right. Like, it's not like we are beating the Chiefs just yet. We're playing the bottom of the league still. Right. So for us to beat those 2 teams, and you're saying he's the next Peyton Manning all of a sudden, it's just like, bro, I love him too, but like, nah, like chill out. Like, let him prove himself first.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Yeah, I would say personally though, I think Mahomes is proven. Like,
he's proven.
He does this every week.
Yeah, he definitely does. He does. But I'm just saying the jump Ravens-wise, the jump from having no love to all the love in 3 weeks has been wild to watch. So
that's sports media. So.
Yeah, the bandwagon has been ridiculous. So just take your time with it. Don't stop rushing to conclusions that fast.
I mean, I still see the Lamar as a running back comments all over. Still, it's like he's still getting the hate. He's still getting the hate, but there are people jumping on the bandwagon.
But the bandwagon is filling up as well too. So I'm just saying, everybody just breathe. Like, it's a long season. He's got a long career ahead, I hope. Let him do his thing for a while and get it figured out. No need to rush to all these comparisons and things. So that was my concern. I'd honestly rather us fly under the radar than be the heralded team, because I don't know. It seemed like last year, just last year from watching, every time we crept into that top 10 ranking, we would lose the next week. And it's the same thing this year. We crept all the way up to like the 3rd best team in ESPN ranking and things like that, and we play the Chiefs and lose. So not saying that we lost, it was a blowout and nothing bad. I'm just saying usually as soon as we get that top tier, we get viewed as a top team, things don't work out. So I got to wasn't a bad loss at all. No,
I mean, the Chiefs to me are probably the 2nd best team in the league right now.
Yeah, I'm with
after the Patriots. So yeah, it's not a bad loss at all. I liked how they played. I mean, the defense. I'm not too hard on the Ravens D just because I think Pat Holmes is elite. Like, I think he's the best quarterback in the league right now.
Definitely.
And they have crazy talented, crazy speedy receivers too.
Speed is ridiculous, man. They all
get Tyreek back. Once they get Tyreek back, bro, it's ridiculous. The weapons they got. And then there's still Travis Kelce, and LaShawn McCoy is playing well again with Andy Reid too. So they're really dangerous offensively, and their defense actually played a little better than I expected. So
that's a really nasty team.
I want to see the Patriots get tested, though.
Please,
they still haven't.
At least once, like somebody. Gosh.
I mean, they played the Dolphins, the Jets. We thought the Steelers would be a good game, but that was
No,
it?
it hasn't been nothing yet. But before we really deep dive into them, what I want to stick with the Ravens is that there's been some debate within the Ravens circles and kind of everybody actually about the possibility about adding Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey put himself out there that he wants to be traded recently, and everybody in the league started calling. And the Ravens were one of the teams that made a legit offer. We offered reportedly a first-round pick, a second-round pick, as well as our tight end Hayden Hurst in an offer that they turned down. So from my angle, that's a good offer. But
I know they want 2 picks. I'm not sure if they said 2 first-round picks. But
they want 2 picks, and I think what they want is kind of higher picks.
Yeah.
And the Ravens are supposed to be a good team, so they're not going to get really a high pick with that. So that's part of why they turned that deal down. So I with that being the case, I understand it. But
I mean, I do too.
From my side, I'm like, you getting 2 of our picks plus one of our good tight ends. So I would have took that because y'all need all the help you can get. But
Jalen is a game changer, though.
He's a game changer, and plus with us not getting any defensive player back in that, we're just stocking up. So maybe they didn't want to. They want somebody defensively in return. So I don't know what deterred them in that, but we can get the deal done. But hopefully after watching this game, maybe we go back and try it again, because if we saw these injuries, something that we saw is that if there's speed on the outside, we can get beat. So we need a cover corner that can shut that all that down, and Jalen can definitely do that. So hopefully we can get that done. If not, we're still in good shape. But interested to see where Jalen Ramsey lands.
I definitely heard a few teams' names being mentioned in regards to potential trade landing spots for Jalen. I think the Chiefs and the Patriots as well. I think I've heard the Seahawks, maybe Saints. So at Dallas too. So I know a lot of teams are trying to get him, because he's an elite player. Definitely will change your defense on the outside. So.
Yeah, so he's definitely a piece that anybody would want. Definitely a piece that everybody's calling for. Reports have been flip-flopping where at first they said he was going to get traded before Thursday night's game. Then they said he would get traded by the end of the season or by the trade deadline, whatever. Now they're saying Jaguars don't want to give him up. So I don't know what's going on over there. But at least from Jalen's side, he wants to be out, and we'll see how that unfolds. So
he's handled it pretty well from what I've seen in interviews as well too. He said he just wants to play football. He had requested to leave, but as long as he's there, he's going to continue to compete. So, I mean, I like how he's handled himself. He hasn't made it a big issue. It's going to be in the media news because he's a top player in the league. But he's continuing to play. So,
and that's where I was going to go next. We talked about how he handled it well. Someone who's handled it wrong and has let him out of the league is Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, his things have fallen apart. He was just cut by the Patriots after just 1 week. Thank God, because
I told you, bro. I told you that shit was not going to work out.
That team would have been real nasty if he stayed on that squad. He already showed out, even though it was the Dolphins. He showed out in that 1 week, and I was nervous. But he continued to be Antonio Brown and led him to being cut this last week. So he also lost endorsements, and everybody's been turning on him and all of that. So it's been a whole mess for him. He still continues to be in his own world. If you watch how he's posting, he's still sitting in front of the jets and sitting on the cars and all that stuff.
They gotta take it
acting like everything is all good. He's still tweeting about everybody, saying why not this, why not that. So it's been a lot of stuff is going on. And before I get to my point, I actually want to go to you first because we might have different views on this.
Okay. From what standpoint though? Just
what do you think of how he's handling things, and what do you think about?
I mean, horribly. I mean, I thought since I didn't really know about his days in Pittsburgh too well, but I thought since his antics in Oakland that it was trending in the wrong direction. I don't know what the reason. I mean, I said the CTE was sizzling, like we were talking about, but you can't just blame it on CTE. I think it's a personal, behavioral type issue where he doesn't really know how to handle himself completely like a professional. I mean, there's a lot of unprofessional guys, but he's a guy who's in the public eye a lot more, and he knows that, and he kind of tries to take advantage of that as well. He put out the video of him talking on the phone with Gruden. He put out the video of him celebrating and saying he was free once he got released. And then those text messages came out recently of him threatening kind of the accuser who accused him of sexual assault, or one of the accusers. And I think that was rumored to be kind of the last straw for the Patriots, and they eventually cut him. I think he just did a lot to hurt himself more than help himself, and I think he's just what it comes down to is I think he's just a real selfish guy. Like he's extremely supremely talented, and no matter what team he was on, I think he could contribute. I think he could help them win games, but his antics off the field have cost him about 40 million now, and maybe his career. Maybe his career. So
he went from that $30 million contract to the $9 million to he got one game check from the Patriots for like $150,000, and that was it. So all that money down the drain real quick. I said we're gonna have different views because even with all you said, I definitely hear all you say. I don't know what it is, but I still want to root for him. And the thing is that he's handling it terribly. Like if you're shitting on if you're talking about how he's handling it,
yeah.
I'm with you there. It's definitely the wrong approach. What he's doing is bad, and it's been causing him to lose all the money, and that's why he's out of the league now.
Right.
But the why, I think that's why. I think I understand his why. I think his why is just protecting himself, protecting his family, and wants to have a secure future. I mean, obviously he's done a terrible job in showing that, and a terrible job in presenting how he's about football, about Jalen just wanting to be on the field. Antonio Brown has been saying the same thing. He's just been showing it the wrong way as well with all the antics he's been doing. I think with Antonio Brown that he is someone that wants to, again, protect himself, and the things just him being caught up in his own persona led him down the wrong way in his actions. Mm-hmm. So what he was trying to fight for before, where he was talking about he wanted his guaranteed money, he wanted his contract, he wanted to be healthy, he wanted to be protected on the field with his helmet and things. Mm-hmm. He was trying to just make sure everything was right before he stepped on the field again. I understood all of that and why he was doing that. But the way he was acting out is why people have turned on him and have been calling him every name in the book. So
1,000%. Yep.
There's something in me, maybe being, even though I wasn't like professional or anything like that, even in the small time of me being an athlete, like I still want to root for him. Like I want to root for be on his side and all that kind of stuff. It's just that his actions make it hard to do so. So I am one of the few, it appears, that's still hoping for the best for him. I hope he can figure things out. He's saying he never is going to play he doesn't want to play in the NFL no more, things like that. I don't know what he wants to do. I don't know. I think we talked about before how we kind of see guys as more than athletes. I definitely see him as more than just that. And wherever he goes next, even if he's not on the field no more, I hope we can figure all this stuff out. There's a lot of stuff being thrown in his way. A lot of people trying to attack him right now. And I hope we can figure it all out. So, I'm probably in the minority with that. But, it's weird saying as a Ravens fan, him being the Steeler for so long. But I've always been a fan of his quietly, and I hope things work out. So, we'll definitely see how it all plays out with him and what he does next.
I can't honestly say, like, I know, like you said, you think you know what his why is. I can't say that.
Well, based on what he was doing, he said he was caring about his helmet and things and his guaranteed contracts. On the tweets he deleted, he was talking about how he felt like
the Raiders stuff was supposed to be a ploy for him to get out of Oakland. Like everyone was giving him credit for being a genius for getting out of Oakland, everything he did there. But
like I said, if you're talking about his antics were definitely a mess, and I definitely understand all of that. So, I don't know what's next for him, and like I said, I'm still hoping for the best for him. So, yeah. Y'all can shit on me if you want to.
I don't know.
Comment, kill me with that if you want to, but
and then I didn't like the post with Nip, like trying to like use his kind of platform, the Marathon Continues kind of thing. I don't know. It just felt like selfish is the main thing that it comes to mind for me. Like
it is selfish
to bolster your platform. I don't even know what you're like fighting for at this point, really. So.
Going to your point about Nip real quick. All these things about that definitely seem selfish, and I understand the hate. The thing with me is just that I've seen so many others do that same thing, like have their shit go bad and they bring up a Nip quote. It's just like that's kind of what people do now. So I want to be mad, but like that's everybody's doing that shit. So it is what it is. So yeah, I kind of just I wouldn't say ignore it, but like it didn't rile me up or anything. Like it's just like everybody does that shit. So be it.
It's not a rile up. I just like don't try to use someone else's legacy to like.
That's what I'm saying.
Back your bullshit. Like
saying,
you know what he's been doing.
I get you. I'm saying I've noticed a lot of people do that shit. I've seen a lot of people pull up a Nip quote to act like what they were doing is right, even if they've been in the wrong. So that's why I was just like, you know what? People are gonna use Nip how they want to use Nip, whether it's right or wrong. You can't control people how they do their shit, but you know what Nip how he would actually feel. So it is what it is. So. Yeah. Like, again, still, we're gonna see what happens with Antonio Brown, and yeah, we'll see what's next. Where do you want to go after that? I don't know where to go after all that.
Kind of flip side, just a good thing I saw in the NFL was Kenny Stills, who's now on the Houston Texans, I believe. He is working with the Houston police to start a program that kind of like builds trust in the community with the youth in the Houston community, kind of like a community policing program, basically. So that was something good I saw this week. Just someone in the NFL who stood with Cap and is trying to enact positive change in their community immediately because he's been there a couple months, so he's already trying to get to work, and that's something positive that I like to see. I'd like to see some type of initiatives like that coming from Rock Nation and whatever they got planned.
Yeah, have you seen what's next with them? I haven't seen anything since that concert.
Not yet.
People been killing
maybe they're intentionally trying to stay a little bit quiet just because of the blowback they've been getting. But I don't know.
Yeah, just make you look, but I'm glad there's others that are stepping up in their place and doing the right thing. So definitely salute to Kenny Stills, definitely salute to all the Houston players. I've been seeing a lot about Houston. Houston had a flood, something like that recently, and a lot of guys have been stepping up. So shout out to the Texans and all they're doing over there. A lot of good stuff happening with them. A lot of activists on that squad. And I'm happy to see that.
Houston wide receiver paid for a youth's funeral or something like that. Also.
Right. They say they act over there. They act over there, and I appreciate that definitely. So that's definitely great to see. Definitely love what I'm seeing across the league and all the efforts on and off the field. So good stuff going on there.
Then the last thing I had from NFL wise was just the injuries. I don't think we talked about that because that happened last Sunday at the end or whatever. But news came out Monday that Drew Brees is gonna be out 6 weeks with a torn ligament probably in his thumb. And I think he had surgery on that. So that's a big hit to the Saints because then now they have, I don't know. I didn't watch the game today. I don't know if they did a tandem quarterback thing with Bridgewater and Taysom Hill, but
they said they were. I haven't watched either, but that's what they said they were going to do. So we shall see.
That's a tough hit. I mean, because they were an NFC favorite probably. So losing Breeze for 6 to 8 weeks is tough. And then in your division, you had Big Ben go down for the year with his elbow injury. So I mean, good for the Ravens. Good for the Ravens.
I never liked Big Ben, bro. I never liked Big Ben. So
no one
him going down.
Person. I don't think anyone.
I'm saying either way, on the field, off the field, whatever. I never liked Big Ben. So bye. He's already up there in age too. So if this might lead him to retirement,
that would be my question. Do you think that'll lead him to retire or?
Hey, Kodak voice. I hope so.
I hope so.
Fuck out of here, bro. I'm not a fan of Big Ben. So if he's gone, then I'm pleased. So definitely a lot of injuries going on in the league. A lot of things with that going on. Another year of all these injuries happening. We just talked about earlier about I think we talked about it here. Did we talk about Saquon and his ankle?
No, we didn't.
Okay, so we just had another one today. Yeah, it just happened a few hours ago today. Saquon just went down with an ankle injury in the first half of his game. Walked out in the second half wearing an ankle boot or a boot and walking on crutches. So that maybe just be a protective measure for now, or it could mean a long-term thing. So we don't know yet, but they're trying to protect him at all costs right now. We'll see how that goes. I have him on my fantasy team, so there goes my season most likely.
How you doing this week?
I'm fighting back at the end. To be honest, I was down for a while, but I'm playing Miguel, and Miguel's team ain't doing too well either. So
True.
if
Okay.
Keenan Allen can give me one more good quarter, then I have Nick Chubb tonight. If Nick Chubb can give me something good tonight, pause. Then we in good shape. We in good shape. Damn it! I caught it as I was saying it. I caught myself. Everybody chill. Everybody chill. But yeah, Nick Chubb, I need a good game.
They're trying to get that Chubb tonight. Woo.
Chill out. Everybody relax. Everybody calm down. Anyways, yeah, if I might be able to get a dub at the end of the night. So looking forward to all of that. How's your team doing?
Mine's tough. I'm down 5 right now, and I just got Vance McDonald and the 49ers D playing. And he's got Hopkins, Cooks, and he's got Chicago's D on Monday. So it's looking like I'm gonna take my first L this season.
You're done, bro. Welcome to the 2-1. Welcome to the 2-1 squad. I'm about to be with you hopefully after I get this dub. And we shall see. You hate to see it, but hey, you're not gonna be perfect in this game. So
yeah, you can't.
Definitely
it's a game of chance when it comes down to it, honestly.
Honestly. So definitely stay tuned with our Fantasy Football League. I post our games every week on our Instagram page, Section.300. Stay tuned, stay updated with all of that. Put your votes in for you think of which teams of ours are going to win each week. And yeah, keep following us because we got a lot of good stuff there. So that's it, fantasy football wise. Something else I want to talk about real quick with the NFL, talk about injuries and things. And another thing that's been major this year has been the penalties. There's been a lot of roughing the passer penalties that have been excessive. There have been a lot of holding penalties this year. And it's like I said, I played in high school barely. Like I had a small career, whatever. Mm-hmm. But even just with the small taste, I have my somewhat insight, and I watch the game a little bit different than maybe the other fans I do. So with that being the case, I've been watching these games, and they've been highlighting these penalties a lot. They've been highlighting these holding calls a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's been funny because as a player, you hate it. As a fan, you hate it. Mm-hmm. But watching it, like I understand why they're calling the penalties. Like that might be kind of anti-player. It kind of goes against what everybody's saying right now because everybody's kind of mad about all these penalties. But I understand why they're calling all the flags right now. Yeah. Because last year there were so many calls about why aren't you throwing the flag? If you go to games and watch games, you're always gonna hear somebody, hey, that was a holding call. Why aren't you calling the holding calls? Right. Everybody sees this stuff going on. You feel like the refs ignore it. So now they're calling it, and now people are mad that they're calling it too much. So like the refs can never win the situation.
I mean, part of that was Tom Brady tweeting. Like, he got people riled up, too.
Oh, about them calling it too much? Yeah. I saw that game.
Like, shut up, Tom.
It's a thing, too, where the guys are making penalties. So, like, if the guy's holding all game, if he does it every play, it's not like, okay, you get 3 flags, then you just ignore it. Like, you got to call it every time, and if he keeps on doing it, that's on him. Right. So, if guys aren't learning how to play the game proper and they're making the wrong moves and they're holding and roughing the passer, the roughing the passer is a little bit different because I don't know what roughing the passer is right now. But
like the ones that are like judgment calls is tough. Like the judgment ones sometimes, the targeting ones sometimes.
But I'm saying there's a lot of the clear penalties now that are getting called, but they're getting mad. People are getting mad that it's called. It's like refs can't win. So I can't remember the last time I was on the ref side, but for the first time this might be, I'm with the refs this time. Like you guys just call it. Like that's what the rules are, and guys want to keep on doing illegal stuff, and you guys do what you got to do. So it's gonna clean up the game. I know people want more of the action, but if guys learn how to get better with the technical stuff and learn how to better play the game, it'll be better for us in the long run. So this first year with the more aggressive penalty calling, you got to just deal with it, and because it'll kind of balance itself out as you go forward. So that was the last thing.
The Saints are like, where was this last year?
The Saints still get bad calls. So they're the exception. Like Saints fans ignore everything I just said because y'all still don't get bullshit.
Like they got a right defense. Yeah.
Right. Everybody else though, just wait it out, and y'all will get the calls that you want, or the calls that or they'll ignore the ones that you don't want. So that's the last thing I wanted to bring up NFL wise. A lot of good games going on still. I turned to the TV and the Chargers are down 17-21. I'll bring that back too. Hey, to our boys, with that being said, my boy Frankie, big Chargers fan. Y'all are some frauds, bro. Y'all had a nice season last year. So, hey, respect to y'all. Y'all beat us in the playoffs. Right. Cool. But ever since then, I don't want to hear nothing from y'all right now. Y'all lost last week.
I will give them one caveat.
Right now. Even if you win today, y'all were looking real shaky. Y'all not going to be that dominant team that y'all think y'all might have been. Y'all, every year, it's this. I don't want to hear it. So,
I will say real quick. They don't have Melvin Gordon, who's probably a top 5 running back.
Eckler's been doing just fine without him. Justin Jackson, whoever his name is, doing just fine. King and Nally and all these receivers look just fine.
Sure, I mean, yeah. They're still doing the role.
They still have guys that can, they're still okay. So I don't want to hear no excuses about, they don't have Melvin Gordon. Give him this contract. If y'all need him that bad, give him his money. Give him his money. Y'all want to pay him, so y'all being the prize that y'all are. So, Frank, y'all, with that being said, hit me up. I'm here for all the conversation. We can talk. Definitely looking forward to that. My Ravens, we can talk about that all day long. So definitely hit me up about that. Hit us up on, as we always say, online. Definitely talk about all that shit. So
who the Ravens got next week?
I think we have the Browns next week. So I think we can get that done. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to the rest of the season for the Ravens, Chargers, Browns, everybody. I'm excited for the rest of this NFL season. So that's what I wanted to end on. I almost forgot about it, but had to send some smoke to our boys over there real quick, and hopefully they respond to it. So that's what I'll leave it with the NFL things. And going off of that, I don't know where you want to go from there.
You want to go NBA?
We can do that, or real quick. Did you see that? This is random, and my apologies, but I decided to bring it up.
Okay.
Did you see that Area 51 day happened yesterday?
I didn't really pay too much attention to that.
They had the clap alien cheek signs up in full force.
I thought that was trending. On Twitter. Clap alien cheeks.
God dang, man, people are wild. So
you had your sign up.
I was there. I was there with my sign up. Most definitely.
Sure.
So people have been talking about it for a while, about this whole Area 51 raid day. People have been talking about. It went from an internet joke to a real thing. People showed up in Nevada somewhere. Groups of thousands showed up with all these signs, and media showed up and had all this footage of all these people gathered, and just, I don't know what they did. Nobody raided anywhere. They kind of just gathered and then stood around, and then that was it. So
did it get zapped though?
I got zapped. It was just like, hey, we're all here and we're not trying to die, so never mind. They turned around. So that was it. But definitely a little funny thing that I wanted to talk about, so we brought it up before on the show. So definitely funny. So that was the random stuff. Going back to our real topics, we're a month away from the NBA season, and we're starting to get more headlines with that. Still no Melo news. I'm going to be a Melo fan. No Melo news yet, but definitely keep our eyes on that at all times. But another Melo Ball is overseas right now and playing real well. He just started his season overseas in Australia for, I don't know what's their name, but he's playing for the team over there and looking real good. So continue to show that he's a top talent that should be picked up early on this upcoming draft. And I'm liking what I'm seeing from him over there.
Yeah, I mean, the clips I've seen too, he's looking nice. Like, he's distributing the ball well. He's shooting the three well. He's attacking. He's not afraid of the contact. And he's playing against grown men. He's playing in a professional league once again, which he did in the past too. So that experience is going to help him going into the NBA as well. So I don't think you can discredit really his talent when you're playing against grown men in a professional league like that. So it's good for the scouts to see him performing.
There's that, and there's also, how tall is he now?
Probably about 6'7", point guard.
That's what I was gonna say. He's 6'7", still running the point.
Yep.
So if he's up there still and running the offense like he's doing that, that's definitely gonna be a hot commodity once he gets into the league. So definitely happy for what I see from him over there. Definitely excited for what his professional future has to hold for us. And definitely got to keep our eyes on that.
You want to stick with the balls again?
Yes, but no.
Hey, that was your line, bro.
I was trying to find a better segue than that. I was trying to find a better segue than that, but
give it to me. No, give me your segue.
You got it. You like the balls, so you take it.
I want to hear it.
You take all the balls you want, bro. You got it. Go ahead, man. You got it. So go ahead with your segue. Stick with your boy.
Yes, sticking with the the balls.
No, say it smooth. Say it confident. Go ahead.
Sticking with the Ball family.
There you go.
Ball the family had a clip that went kind of viral, I guess you could say, on Twitter, where Lonzo and LeVar were getting into it over the brand, the Big Baller brand that has kind of gone under since Alan Foster. No relation to Alec Foster.
False.
Since Alan Foster took about $2 million from the brands and kind of fractured the brand's reputation. LeVar is.
What you with that last check?
LeVar is seeking to bring the brand back, and Lonzo had some questions for his pops, kind of checking him for the first time that we've seen, I guess, on camera. A lot of media have been calling for him to stand up to his pops in the past, and it seemed like he finally is doing so, as he isn't quite on board with bringing the brand back. He suggested changing the name, like getting second opinions from guys who have done the marketing for Adidas and Under Armour before. And LeVar was kind of just like, fuck all that. I created you. You've been damaged goods for the last couple of years. Like, there was a lot of harsh shit he said about Lonzo that had like an ounce of merit to it, but was like a little over the top for me personally hearing it. I still think while Lonzo has been hurt more games than we'd want the past couple of years, I still think he's going to be a talented player in this league. I think he's probably going to be one of the most improved players this coming season if he stays healthy. That's the biggest question mark. So that felt like a low blow. And then he kind of said that LeVar said that he made them superstars. He made Melo and Lonzo superstars, which I say that has an ounce of merit because he trained them, like he fathered them. He kind of put them on the platform they have. But I mean, they also have the talent. They also put the work in themselves. So I don't know. I love LeVar, but I kind of wasn't feeling him. I watched the show. I watched all the episodes. So this wasn't like I just saw this clip and I'm making this opinion. Like I see how he is with them, and it was a little bit out of character to me. I guess it's because of how passionate he is about the brand.
Out of character from who?
Who LeVar is usually like to his boys.
I wouldn't say that. I think that's still on par with who he is. He's always been straightforward. They call him at a more aggressive moment, but we've seen multiple times in the past, at least from what I remember, where he's been more aggressive towards guys. I'm thinking too, like first season of The Ball in the Family where LaMelo was still in high school playing the AAU game. There was that one time that everybody talked about where LeVar pulled him off the court for whatever reason, and LeVar went back and was just going in on LaMelo for whatever the case may have been. There have been times where he's really dug into his sons. And another thing too is I saw a lot of reaction where people were saying again that LeVar was going too far. And being the athlete for however long I may have been, I've seen a lot of parents do that to their kids before. Like this is not a new thing. Like I know it's new to the cameras and we don't see it as tense as that may have seen, but I've experienced it myself. I've seen others have their parents treat them the same way. Like that's not
of course
really a new thing. So it's just a thing where now in the social media age where everybody sees everything, people that are not truly within the sports culture, looking from the outside in, see this as a guy yelling at his son, don't understand that this is somewhat common. Should it be common? That's a whole other conversation. But is it for right now? Yes, it is, and that's why I didn't really jump at it. Like
I mean, I didn't jump at it either. It was just a disagreement. I mean, I know there's still love there. In the time span of the show, because the show is like months behind kind of reality right now, but I think at that point they were beefing for a while. LeVar and Lonzo like weren't talking for a good minute, and that was kind of the first conversation they'd had in weeks, and it kind of just like blew up there. Tensions flared, but I mean, there's still love there. Like that's still his pops. He's still his son. So I don't think anything like relationship wise is messed up. I don't think like LeVar is a bad father or whatever because of what he said too. He kind of got caught in the heat of the moment, I think, because I mean, it's Lonzo's money too. Like at the end of the day, it's not his. So, yeah.
What has Allen been saying?
Nigga, I don't know what Allen did. I don't even know where Allen is before. Like, I guess Allen just cashing checks wherever he is, but
he's just balling out on the low with all the money right now. That's wild. Oh my gosh. So
that's a good question. We gotta find like where is Allen?
Oh God, yeah, that'd be interesting to see. So that's going on with the Ball family and all them and all the things going on right now. Besides that, I really don't have any other NBA news besides the season being like a month away.
I had a couple, but go for it.
No, you go. I don't have nothing. So you.
Okay. Well, the Lakers finally got like that exception for Boogie being hurt. So I think they get like 1.75 mil or something.
I heard that does not clear a roster spot. It just clears cap space.
Exactly. It cleared like the cap space, but I mean, I believe they have the ability to get somebody, like if they were like to trade or whatever now, because I know they were still trying to get Iguodala, and there might have been.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think we have a free roster spot anymore. I think that Boogie is still on their team. We just clear his whatever cap, whatever that case may be.
Right, but now there's a little bit more money.
I'm confused. Do we still have a roster spot? That's what I'm trying to say. I thought we already had 15. I
mean, we could double check that. I thought we did, but if not, I'm just saying like there's still that extra like 2 mil or so. If you wanted to like make a trade with 2 players for one, you still have a little bit more money to take on a bigger contract from someone else. So
for sure.
Yeah.
So that works out. Hopefully we can make something happen. Get a guy like an Iguodala or get a guy like a Melo, wherever the case may be, wherever when these guys free up that we can grab. So yeah, I'm happy for that. We'll deep dive the NBA and then have more projections as the season gets closer. But for now, yeah, that's really all I had. Well, you had other things too.
Yeah, last thing I had was I saw the Board of Governors passed regulations on tampering and the salary cap, which, and I think initially a lot of owners were kind of against the stricter policies, but I guess they came to a conclusion that they needed it, they wanted it. Probably more of the smaller market teams who kind of get fucked over when the
or they just realize that there's still ways to maneuver around it, because really it's the agents. Like everything's really about everything's been the tampering seems to be about the team to the player. But if you're talking to the agents, I don't know what the rules are with that, so I might be wrong. But if you can still have contact with Rich Paul or wherever the case may be, then things are still going to be going how they've been going. So I don't know how rules would change any of that, because agents are the ones that are really getting things done. But
I think it is going to change a little bit, just because Adam Silver is going to have a little bit more power. He's now going to have the power to seize people's communication devices too. If need be, he said he doesn't want to, but he can now. So executives. I mean, when you had guys like Magic and Pelinka tampering perhaps in the background. You had, I think I saw that what's his name? Steve Ballmer was at some of the Toronto Raptors games in the finals, which wasn't really talked about, but they were clearly recruiting Kawhi at that point too.
Right.
So I think you may see a few more fines coming out with tampering going on, but I don't know how much change it's going to make.
Yeah, with billionaires, they're going to pay the fine and keep it moving. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm glad that they're at least trying to clean it up. I was fine with it either way, but they're trying to do that for whatever reason they see fit, then so be it.
Yeah. You either got to get rid of the rules or strictly enforce them, basically. So
yes, but if you get rid of it, it already seems like a free for all in a way. So getting rid of the rules, what does that do? It just makes it more free. It'll just push everybody to the big markets again. And I don't think that's what they want. They want to have everything spread out still. So you gotta have some kind of rules to try to keep the league balanced, because guys appear to be going back to all the big cities again.
Right.
So you don't want that to ruin the rest of the league. So you gotta try to regulate it and keep everything under control. So I get that. And again, another thing that we definitely gonna be on the lookout for as seasons unfold. So that's really all I got. That's all we got, I think, for NBA. You got any more basketball shit you wanted to talk about real quick?
No, I think that was it.
But then we'll go into the music shit. And before I get to my FyeForYou list and talk about all the new music, let's talk about the thing that had all the headlines this week. Let's talk about all the thing that everybody was making memes about. Everybody had all their things going on about the whole rave, all the talk this week. That's 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine testified this week in his case that he has going on. All his legal issues going on, and there's been a lot of reaction. People have been made all kinds of snitch memes and this, that, and the third, and it seems like they're not. I wouldn't say glorifying him, but it seems like the way he's created his image, like they're not mad at what he's doing. Like they're kind of letting him get away with what he's doing. And how do you feel about 6ix9ine and the reaction to him and what's going on right now?
It seems like everybody's a member of the 9 Trey Bloods. So that's news to me. But I think I sent you and Matt one of those tweets where it was like, niggas are complaining about snitching who have never like been a part of this like culture at all, really, kind of thing, like, or never committed a crime or anything. Like, it's kind of getting annoying, the people that are complaining about snitching, because they like, you really like haven't been in that situation where you're facing life in prison, I guess too. So I feel like you don't, like me myself, like I don't have like the credibility to like talk about this, say one way or the other, like what's right, what's wrong, for him to conduct himself in court. I mean, I think he's doing what his lawyers are telling him to do and what he thinks is going to get him the least amount of time and hopefully safe somewhere in Wyoming or some shit afterwards. I don't know, but because he's not going to be able to just act how he was before. He's not going to be able to go home. He's not going to be not going to be able to put out music. He's going to have to fade into some tall grass. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you in the sense that I don't necessarily have the credibility to say what's right and what's wrong, but just me being a fan of hip hop for so long and watching it and how things have played out throughout the history of it for the time I've followed it. When you are someone who, either him who appeared to from the start use his whole image as an act, even though to him it's an act, you cannot use the culture like that and then think you can snitch your way out and be free afterwards. I think that even with his snitching and things and what he has going on, I think that from the civilian side and him being Daniel Hernandez, I get why he's doing what he's doing. But for as 6ix9ine, who ingratiated yourself, tapped 6ix9ine all over your face, dyed your hair, was throwing up blood, was threatening everybody, all the shit you were doing. When you get that deep inside the shit, you can't then say, "Oh, I'm Daniel Hernandez now." Like you're now 6ix9ine, you are now that, you're now involved with all that. You cannot flip sides now again once you're on trial.
My question is like, how do you even get ingratiated into it? Like, how'd they allow him to be a part? Because like you said, it seemed like a troll the entire time. So
it seemed like a troll to us, but from how it was described from other people I've listened to, I guess the gangs kind of saw it as a money grab. I guess he was a money maker. He was, I guess he was trying to do his music thing and got involved with people who said, you got to get this image besides you. Got him connected with the gangs, and then he ran the gangs, brought them in, and he paid them to be in his videos and stuff. And then once from there, it kind of spiraled into what it became. So even though he, again, start to finish, it was an act. You can't be that act. You can't get as deep into the game as you did and then switch once things get bad. Like you got to stay on that side. So it's interesting to see how it's all playing out. It's interesting seeing the reaction to it. It's honestly, I don't have the credibility to say what's right or what's wrong. But just seeing how it's unfolded and how it seems like everyone else is the shy dude. That was alongside him for most of it. He's taking it to the chains. Like, I did what I did. I'm involved, and I'm gonna serve my time, and then we're gonna figure it out. Then you have Daniel, or wherever you have him, and he's like, "Oh, you. I'm switching everybody. Everybody."
I think partially, maybe his standpoint too is like, I didn't do any of this shit. Like he was clearly a part of it. Clearly part of Treyway or whatever.
Right.
Like he's like, I didn't pull the trigger on nobody. Like, but like, I don't really think he was like about that gang life. I think it was a persona. So
I think he, again, we don't have the full details, so we may be missing things. But
of course,
I think he may not have literally done anything, but there's at least video of him trying to put hits on people. There's video of him guns and all kinds of things, all of that. This and the third, which they said weren't the video fake gun shit. He was like he was holding legit guns every time we saw him with the shit. Mm-hmm. So if he's really doing that, then you got your own blame that's on you too, and you got time to pay. So for you to be involved and to not only be involved, but to go on and again do what you put the hits out and hold the guns and all of that. Right. You were not just doing the act. You were really a part of it. So you can't then get in trouble and then say, "Oh, this isn't actually me." So that's where the confusion comes from, and we gotta continue to see how it plays out. Since we don't really have, like we talked about, the credibility and things, and we don't rather just talk about the other aspects of it. What do you feel about? How do you feel about people today using hip hop for the image and then trying to flip sides once things get bad?
I'm just trying to think of like other instances where we've like seen that, I guess, as grotesquely as
this might be a complete flip, but what you like for, let's say just like the appropriation of it. So for example, like Miley Cyrus came in and was twerking everywhere, and she was Michael made it on everything, and she was hip hop and everything. Then things went bad, and she went straight back to country as Miley Cyrus, and now she's trying to come back again, but people aren't really having it. So people come into the culture, use it for how they want to use it, and then dip or come in and out of the culture however they please, not realizing that there's people that really live and die by this thing.
I think people come in and out when they're like not accepted by it, kind of. Because I don't think Miley was truly accepted in the culture. I think there was a lot of pushback to her seeking to like ingratiate herself into hip hop, because she's not organically hip hop. Like she's organically country pop from like the Hannah Montana shit. So, there's other people too who like benefit off the culture. And I think we've had the kind of culture vulture like conversation too. It's like tricky to like nail down who is and who isn't, because some people truly like respect it, and like I think like Post Malone's a tricky one, because it seems like he kind of tries to benefit off of it, but he also like has an appreciation for it too. But he's kind of pop, and he's kind of a hybrid of it. So
he was a weird one, because we kind of accepted who he was, and we're like, all right, you're kind of your own lane. We're just like, sure, you're not really hip hop, but you are, so just do your thing and whatever.
Yeah, he still gets like the artist with him, performing with him too. He gets him on his albums, and so, he's kind of accepted. I think it's as long as you aren't like problematic, the culture is like pretty accepting of people. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I would say the line kind of is.
Yeah, I think hip hop and black people in general, we're very accepting people, and we'll let things slide as long as you ain't really going all full wildness with it. So
niggas love Ray Cyrus.
Exactly. We let things. We're very accepting in our ways. So I definitely hear what you're saying. I do feel a way at times, like watching this all unfold. It was weird because it's weird. It's weird because there's also a side where I can't lie and say that I didn't like any of the songs that 6ix9ine made when he was on his run.
Some of the shit he put out after he got arrested was some good music too. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, if the product is good, people will let anything slide. So it's just being careful of what you're doing and seeing what the jig is before it boils over to what we see it is now. So I think we just gotta get a better eye. I think that sometimes we gotta get better at ignoring the talent and recognizing the tactics of what's going on. So we see the talent and we see the product, and we're like, oh, this is good. And then we down the line, we realized that was actually used against us rather than for us. So we just gotta get better at seeing the tactics going on, and how people are trying to use us for their own personal gain. So it's definitely interesting to see how everything's playing out. Definitely gonna keep an eye on all this stuff as it goes forward. And the memes have been interesting this week to watch unfold. So definitely keep an eye on that. Someone where I go next, someone who collaborated with 6ix9ine, someone who is a person that is not gang wise, but just in regards to how we see and how he's been manipulating the media and things of that nature, how he's been trying to get back in our good graces, and regardless of what his antics may have been. And that's Kanye West. Yeah. And Kanye, I talked about last week about he announced his Jesus is King project. Right. That's coming this Friday. The 20th. Supposed to come this Friday. Yeah. He said he was at one of his Sunday services. It's a video where he made it somewhat official. Again, he did the same thing with Yandi, where he had all these announcements but didn't follow through. So we won't know till we actually have it. But the album's supposed to come this week. And do you have any care for it? Are you going to be tuned in?
No, I mean, bro, I don't really care about the 6ix9ine shit either, if we're being real. But I don't. I mean, I'll listen to Kanye, but like I think we said before, like we're not like looking hype for it, waiting on the album to drop kind of thing. Like Kanye has kind of just left a sour taste, I think, in our mouths personally. I mean, I can't speak for the entire Black community, but I think a lot of Black people too are real sour on Kanye just after his antics with the Make America Great Again stuff and the Trump stuff, and it kind of seeming like a ploy to get Black consumers back with his move towards gospel influenced music, which he has always had in his music in the past, but now it seems a little more emphasized. And Jesus is King. Like that's a huge step in the direction of
he's going full in on it, definitely.
Right. So I mean, it'll be interesting to hear the music. I mean, because some of the clips I've heard sound good, sound like good gospel music. But I'm just like I'm not hyped for it. I'm not looking for it. I'm kind of just indifferent on him at this point, I guess. I don't know.
Just into the music real quick. Gospel music is good music, so when you get anybody singing that shit, it's gonna sound good. So I haven't really been swayed by any of the clips that I've seen.
Right.
You're singing all the popular songs remixed into a gospel version, or just a popular gospel song. Like the song, if we know it all sounds good, you singing is not going to change my view on you all of a sudden. You're just using that to get back in our good graces. So musically, there probably will be good songs on there because it's hard to mess up gospel songs, especially when you're a talent that Kanye is. But again, going to the tactics, people have been posting videos of Kanye a while ago saying at the end of his career he's going to go to gospel music and things of that nature. And now how he predicted this. And I'm not giving him that pass because there's all the stuff he's had in the middle and all the stuff he's done. This, it would have made sense if he stayed on his original trajectory, doing the music he was doing before, and then went into gospel like he says he was going to. But to go from to go from that gospel based music that he's had from his beginning with Jesus Walks and all that kind of stuff, then to go to what the sound he had, then to go to this recent sound with all this bullshit he's been doing, then to go back to gospel. It seems like you're using that now as a tactic to win back people and get back in their good graces. You saw that hat. I haven't seen you once in that MAGA hat since you've gone on this gospel run. You must be done with that because you saw the hate. So you're going back. You're trying to flip sides again and get back in our good graces by using this sound to welcome us back in. So I'm not really being going to the tactics. I didn't catch it with 6ix9ine or anything like that, but I see it with Kanye, and I'm not really getting into it. For those that go for my FyeForYou Friday list every week and listen to all the new music that I post, he will not be on there. But people like Young M.A. who's dropping, The Baby who dropped a great single this last week, people like that will definitely be there. So check those out. But Kanye is not going to be someone that I have on my list. I'm not feeding into that. Everyone else in the world can talk about Kanye. You can find Kanye on any other site. I'm not gonna give him that look. And I've been really happy with him. For someone who, as I turn my thing to my vinyls, who's been a fan since day one, to see the flip that he's done and to see all the things that he's doing now, this is not the Kanye that I once loved. So I can't really. I'm not going to support that right now. So
how would you feel? I mean, because I assume you're still going to like give it at least one listen, right?
I'm gonna give everything a listen, just because we're gonna talk about it here and people are gonna have conversations. So just for that sake, but will it be in my rotation? Is it gonna be something I go back to? Is it gonna be a vinyl I buy? No.
The kind of answers the question, but I was just gonna say, how would you feel if like the music is very good, like just taking away like the person? I mean, because the last couple albums haven't been great. That's partially too why I'm not super like hyped for Kanye music.
For Kanye music to be great. Kanye's music in the past that was great. He was talking about a lot of issues that resonated, but he was doing it in a way that was also enjoyable. So if he's talking about these issues, but still with his MAGA flip on it, it's not going to be enjoyable for me. So even if it sonically sounds good, if the words are a bunch of Kanye shit, I'm not going to be for it. So, and even if it is a flip, if the actions don't mirror that and he's not out, if he's still on his Calabasas wave, if he's not really out doing what his words in this hypothetical are saying that he's doing, then I'm not going to be for it. Like, he's one of the few, like we talked about before, how we sometimes separate the artist from the art. Yeah. He's one of the few where I attach them together. Like, it all flows together. So if his art is all this positive, pro us, and it's Jesus and all this, and it sounds good, but he's still on the bullshit in real life, I'm not going to give that no kind of love. So I got to hear from him as well and see where he's at too, before I accept him back like that fully again. So, yeah, no, I don't care if good or not. I won't be getting his vinyl no time soon. Yeah. So that's where I'm standing with Kanye right now. We definitely gonna see what's going on with that. His album, supposedly Jesus King, drops this Friday. You gotta keep your eyes on that. But going to last Friday and the FyeForYou Friday list that I dropped last week, some solid projects, and really, actually, it wasn't even a lot of projects. It was actually, this is one of the weeks where we didn't get a lot of projects. We got a lot of good singles. Right. Talking about the baby, he got his intro, and I love the intro that he did. He went on instead of doing the typical, the Suge and the type of stuff that he does, instead of going that kind of pop route, he took that sound and went deeper with it, with his thing. We talked about before how people are starting to take this trap sound and mess with lyrics and really deep dive issues as well. And the baby used his intro track that he dropped this last week, talking about his family and his come up and all of that in a very good way that I really enjoyed. So that is called Intro. It's going to be the intro to his Kirk album that's dropping sometime this year. And I like what I heard from that first single. So that's definitely a good one. As for the rest of it, we got our first Gangstar track in God, that's been a while. Admittedly, I didn't grow up on Gangstar. I didn't know Gangstar heavy like that. I definitely know about their work, but I didn't grow up on them heavy. Recipes Guru, who's definitely a part of them, definitely one of the more underrated rappers in history, but that should be appreciated. But I saw this track, and I didn't really know. Again, I wasn't big Gangstar like that, so I didn't really know how to react. But the j.cole feature that he has on there grabbed me. So Gangstar featuring j.cole, that's gonna be interesting. So I ran to it, and I really enjoyed what I heard. Gangstar, DJ Premier, and Guru put together. Premier he had some Guru versus Guru passed, I believe, just under a decade ago, or just over a decade ago. I'm not sure. My apologies, but he passed, and he still has a lot of verses in the tuck that Premier has, and he's going to be coming back with a new album soon. And this first single with j.cole is the rollout of that. So they came together, and Guru sounds real good. The Premier did his thing with the beat, and j.cole bodied that shit as well. So I definitely enjoyed what I heard from them.
Real quick on that, too, j.cole said that was going to be his last feature. And I was surprised to see that. I don't know if there's actual merit to that. I mean, I guess you got to take him at his word, but that was like surprising to see at this point, after he's had a string of killing features, and then he put out a great album with Revenge of the Dreamers 3, and his next album's coming. So,
if anything, that shows that there's still somewhat of a disconnect that he has with the fans, because with the run that he's been on and how it's turned everyone's love for him, and how people no longer shit on him for the beats or the boring verses or whatever, people are starting to really accept him and call him legit and everything. for him to stop now and go back to the solo thing, that I think that would be a misstep. So I don't know if that fully is the case, but if so, we're still going to get great music. Again, we've seen him go platinum with no features before. The music's going to be good, but we want to see him do that. We want to see him embrace everyone at the same time as well, and be involved and do more of the Dreamville type stuff where you're on the verses with the baby, or you're on the verses with Jid, and you're on the verses with everybody else. We want to hear more of that. So for you to stop that, it'd be sad to see. So I will say, in this run he's been on, if it truly is the case, this is a great way to end it, because he bodied this feature with Gangstar, and this will be a great send-off. Yeah. But I think it would be, again, I think it'd be a misstep, even if that truly is the case. So we'll see. I personally take it kind of like how rappers retire. Okay. Is like I'm retiring, I'm gonna be gone, and then he might pop up a year later with some new shit because I changed my mind, I still want to do it. So I'm not taking it too serious, but if so, for right now, we shall see. I don't think I've heard another artist say I'm not doing another feature. Like I don't know. That was just like it was an odd statement to me. Right. I mean, because we hear that I'm retiring all the time, and even Cole has had a bar where he said like he's contemplating retirement, but saying I'm not doing another feature, it just seemed odd. I don't know. Yeah, and it feels like every feature he's done has been better than the last. Like he's always been doing better. So for him to stop that, again, it'd be a misstep. But again, we definitely gonna see how that goes. And we'll take whatever Dreamville stuff he has next. He talked about how last year he had all these projects he was gonna be doing, the Kill Edward track, the mixtape, all this stuff. Right. All we've gotten is Return of the Dreamers 3, which is still good, but we love to hear as much Cole as we can. So we shall see. But for now, this Gangstar track is really good. Family and Loyalty. Check that one out. Check out again The Baby, the intro track that he dropped. Going down my list, continuing my list. Check out the King of R&B, j.cole. He's dropped this good track. It's a good track. Hey man, y'all can hear what you want. It's good music. You can say what you want. He's the King of R&B in my head. I'm rolling with that. So you ain't on that. Track with Young Thug and Gunna called Verify that I really enjoy. So years last album though, right? j.cole? Yeah. It's a good album. It's all right. It's not bad. I'll troll and continue with the King of R&B shit for the second day and piggyback on what he's doing. So j.cole's still the King of R&B in my head and continue to just run with this track Verify with Young Thug and Gunna. So check that one out. Brent Faiyaz dropped a track called Rehab. Really good track. Brent Faiyaz is someone I love a lot. So he hasn't missed yet in my eyes, and continues to streak with this one. Lucky Days, another R&B guy, dropped a track called High Time. Real high on that one. Yep. Alicia Keys and Miguel came back with a track. I guess Alicia Keys is gearing up for an album. Solid track too. A track called Show Me Love, which I enjoy. And then those were up for the singles. That's for the project that dropped. Jack Harlow is someone who's out of Kentucky, I believe. That's a track called album called Confetti. I've been following him for a little while, and I'm a fan of his. Definitely a dope MC on the rise. He may blow up, and it's coming soon. So you keep your eyes out on him. Jack Harlow, Confetti, and someone he's the one I haven't got to yet. So his name is Kemba. He dropped a track called Gilda, an album called Gilda. That's definitely one I got my eyes on. I want to get to. I didn't get a chance to listen to it before the show, but I'm gonna get to that, and I may bring it back up on next episode. So, Gangstar, The Baby, Brent Faiyaz, j.cole, Alicia Keys, Jack Harlow, Kemba. That wraps up our Friday for this, and Lucky Day, excuse me, for this week. Our classic is Food and Liquor by Lupe Fiasco. That dropped 13 years ago this week. So go back and listen to that. Really good project from Lupe. He's someone who has great albums, and he continues he showed that with this one. So check out Food and Liquor, check out all Lupe, check out all the music I posted for this week, excuse me. And that's my list. So that's what I got for FyeForYou Friday. Definitely stay tuned for next week. It's gonna be a real good one. And that's really it that I got for the whole episode, honestly. Yep. Same here. That wraps it up for me. That wraps it up, man. I really enjoyed what we did today. A lot of good discussion, a lot of good talk. Comment. We're just over wherever you listen to podcasts, or all the viewers here on YouTube. Drop your comments below. Hit us up about what we talked about today. We'd love to hear from y'all. Subscribe to our page as well. We'd love to talk. We'd love to keep y'all updated on what we got going on. A lot of great stuff coming your way. So definitely stay tuned on our YouTube page. Stay tuned wherever you follow us, whether it be on IG at Section.300, on Twitter at Section.300 Pod. Find us anywhere. Like, comment, review, subscribe. share, repost, wherever. I don't know, but show us love however you do so. We really appreciate it. We're trying to keep this thing going. We want to build a dope community that has a lot of deep dialogue about all the shit that goes on in our world, in our sports and music world. So really love to hear from y'all. We appreciate y'all. All right, nothing else. Yeah, find us online wherever. And yeah, we about this thing, man. Good episode 39, Section.300. Shout out the Ravens. I got nothing. even the L. Shout out the Ravens. And yeah, we about this thing. So appreciate all y'all, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Deuces. Cool.